Well, hello everyone. 372 pages we'll never get back. This is the podcast / book club where we go after bad books. Why would we do that? I don't know, but it's Conor Listoka and me, Michael J. Nelson, normally working over at Riff Tracks, but now we're reading teenage scribblings. We're working through My Immortal. I always want to call it Immortal Beloved after the Beethoven film because it's so similar.
They're very, it's a mashup of those two would travel well online, I'm guessing.
Certainly. Wow. So we're halfway through. Conor, I'll toss it to you. What do we have for the show today? I guess we should give a rundown.
Well, yeah, we've got all the normal departments. Time bearing, of course, we didn't have time for emails last time, but we got some good ones this time. We got some of the challenge we put out of rewrite another popular work in the style of Tara Gillespie, so we'll have to get to those. We, of course, have dumb sentences, even though it's an abundance of, it's like when you can just reach into a teeming pond of fish and just pull out a catfish without even having to really cast a line. That's what this is like for dumb sentences.
Right. There's one black sock in your drawer. How many, and there's 75 white socks. How many times before you're sure of getting a black sock? A dumb sentence is sure to come pretty much every time.
Yes. You have 75 black lace garters and only one hot pink one. So you have to, as you're adorning your, but then, and then we have, what's the other one? Fanfic or Real, of course. It was tricky last time, very entertaining, people thought. I heard David Berge said he almost spit out his water and fell off his stationary bike when he was listening, so we can hopefully inspire some more of that type of reactions among our listeners.
My hope for going into it is very, very low. I don't know how.
Well,
I don't know how you could not. I mean, there's so many. The hooks are very few and very easy to grab onto. I don't think there's going to be a lot of subtlety needed to fool the old fiction master.
Well, this one is sort of just like the style of the martial arts style of drunken boxing, where you just you act like you're actually sort of a staggering drunk. So your movements and everything is so unpredictable. That's what this one is like because. The things that you didn't see coming last time, they have no explanation and they come out of left field and oftentimes they're hand waved away. So whether they're real or not is often hard to guess.
Right.
My thought about this one was that it's almost like, I feel like my IQ is reduced just by reading this.
Yes.
Because it requires, just like, your Finnegan's Wake, your Gravity's Rainbow, it just requires effort to parse what she's trying to say at times.
Yeah, I think that was very true, too, of Pappy as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that got kind of annoying. You just want to breeze over it and get the gist, but you are not allowed. The writer does not allow you to do that. Yeah,
and it's sort of like once you do expend the effort to get to it, of course, maybe in some of those more renowned texts, you would be rewarded with something that was, insightful or clever, made you think. Even if you're reading like Beowulf in Old English, at least there's a classic hero's tale there. But here you just finally parse a sentence after 30 seconds, and it's just talking about, which Good Charlotte song she is, kissing Harry in the back of his flying car to. So.
Right, you go to the trouble of learning Old English and can read it, before the great vowel shift, and you're rewarded not with the Canterbury Tales, but with Tara Gillespie. So, yeah.
And it definitely has taken. I believe it's true that it's taken a turn. It's sort of like Flowers for Algernon, where the guy is, he started at one level and it's deteriorating throughout. I don't know if that's in response to the preps. Sort of laying it on thicker, or if it's just rushing in between to get these chapters out. But I feel
or is it a troll just getting more ambitious in the trolling?
Also possible.
Yeah. Well, we'll discuss that as we go along. I actually, plot-wise, I'm fairly lost. Is there a plot?
Well, so far, what I think we left off after the third potential MCR concert, because Voldemort had interrupted the first two, and he's also tasked Ebony with killing Draco. Voldemort has tasked Ebony with killing Draco. That's our main plot development.
Right, and has given her a gun?
He gave her a gun to do that with. Yeah, she has shot Snape a gazillion times with the gun, but him and Lupin are still out and about. They can't be trusted. And Sirius and Lucian, who is Vampire's father and Draco's father, are in some sort of danger. She's getting visions about them.
Okay. That's more than I could have told our audience. Yeah,
but so mostly it's, she's going to concerts, she's making out with boys, and she's changing her outfit.
Yeah,
that has been the majority of 78%
of the prose.
Yes.
Okay. But we're starting with chapter 20.
Yeah, and we dismissed the author's notes last time, but I started to take a great deal of joy in them because
you'll have to explain the technique to our listeners.
Well, it's just this one, she talks about how she's not going to be around because she's taking a vacation to Transylvania, and so I just thought that if taken at face value, that would just be one of the most amusing things that has ever happened to the family who's taking a trip to Europe and bringing along this sad goth daughter who is obviously going to be sort of just trudging along, wishing she was texting Raven and stuff. And the rest of it is, is being flammed by the preps and often giving thanks to Raven for her editorial guidance. And that made me sort of wonder what that relationship was like. I sort of assumed it was maybe like a T.S. Eliot, Ezra Pound kind of thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it Walker Percy and John Kennedy Toole? So
yes.
We were thinking along.
Right, just the steadying hand, really the co-author is how those relationships are described.
Who was also with Fitzgerald? I forget his editor's name. It's also of note, but yeah, you could see them shaping the book as they went along. Extensive conversations between the two of them, almost as fascinating as the book itself. So that's where we're at with Raven. I think.
They're sort of doing a Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. They're just like both their hands are making this pottery shape into existence.
Wow, we've gone deep already with the comparisons.
But yeah, so this chapter starts. It says that MCR was gone to do the concert again. So I think that's maybe the fourth time. And so she, to prep for that, no pun intended there, she slits her wrists while moshing to MCR in her bedroom all night, feeling excited. So that's a bit of exciting multitasking to do a moshing while slitting wrist is quite impressive.
It very much is. I guess in chapter 20, my big questions, and this is overshadowing everything, but I'll just bring it up again. How can this not be trolling? I'll read this one. I got all mad and turned it of, but sacredly, I hopped inside, dat it was Draco so we could do it again. So I think it's supposed to say I got all mad and turned it off, but secretly I hoped inside that it was Draco. But it's I got all mad and turned it of, but sacredly I hopped inside dat it was Draco so we could do it again. I mean, trolling.
But then again, like it's almost an entirely different language, and the effort to put into misspelling that would be almost as much as it would to just sort of bang that out in your live journal speak, I think.
Except, what about the consistency of the misapplied exclamation points?
That's a hard one to imagine, just because it's so easy to hold down shift as you hold down one. But there's a reason that the
consistency that makes it suspicious in my mind. But then again, I also thought on a counter to that, once the firm hand of Raven was off the tiller and this person was allowed to type themselves, maybe they just have that particular quirk.
That's true. And there's a division in the community about holding down shift versus pressing it each time you want to do a caps lock. So who knows?
There is.
But I think when you go to caps lock to type all caps versus when you hold shift to type an entire word, I think there's a division there.
Okay.
But so that doesn't apply to ones because cap lock doesn't work on numbers anyway. But to your point, you also get sentences like this. Satan says, get it because I'm goth.
Yeah, I get it.
Snake and Lupin were in the middle of the empty hall doing it, and Dobby was watching. And I was wondering how Dobby was going to factor into everything. This is about as good as it could possibly get.
Yeah, perfect application of Dobby. I'll give the troll / author that one.
And then when they see her, they say, "Oh my God, you ludicrous idiot!" They both shooted angrily when they saw me. So it's again the Dale M. Courtney, also Dan Brown style group reactions there.
Yeah. What is that? There was an echo of "Oh my God, you ludicrous idiot" in that.
In the first part.
Yeah, it sounds like something, but I can't. I don't know. I can't pull it. It had an echo of something from a comedy or something, which made me suspicious again. But I couldn't.
It's probably from like Gertrude Stein, or it's another highfalutin allusion.
Dame Edith Sitwell, maybe.
Yes. But she takes pictures of them. And so I guess to blackmail them later, and their reaction I thought was very funny. We get a couple of them in this section. They say, "Well, excuse me," they both shouted angrily. So they sort of shift into a Steve Martin routine as they're, being blackmailed by an underage student for having sex on campus.
Do you think it was an intentional homage, this person reaching back into the 70s for a sketch from Saturday Night Live? Hard to say. Here's another possible evidence of trolling. Mm-hmm. They chased me, but I threw my wound at them, and they tripped over it. Well, anyway, I went outside, and there was Vampire looking extremely fucking hot. What is the wound?
Her wand.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't get it because I'm Goff aside, but I'm guessing that's what it is. Just hearing it for the first time, but
oh yeah, well that should have been get it. I'm Goff. Yeah. Dang it, it tripped me up, so to speak.
Wow. But yeah, Vampire's outside. He has a flying car. It doesn't say the specific make and model like Draco had a Mercedes-Benz, but his dog father, Sirius Black, had given it to him. But the license plate on the front says MCR 666, but the one on the back says Eneby. So I don't know. I'm doubting the street legalness of this arrangement because, it seems like that would cause a lot of confusion.
Seems like one or both are stolen plates. So someone should get on that. What is your thought on the now shocking lack of ever spelling Ebony correctly? Is this, again, it's evidence both for and against trolling?
I mean,
Igagi at one point.
I think that it's not a word that you're typing a lot, really. Ebony.
It's not like a rhythm or something where every single time.
Rhythm can go straight to hell.
Yes.
I don't know. It could be her Ogden.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a good hand wave.
I sympathize. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
But I think that we've got a couple of these. So, but when she sees the flying car that her godfather had given him that says MCR on the front and Enemy on the back, what is her reaction? If you just had to guess off the top of your head?
Maybe it's extremely effing hot. I don't know.
She gasps after several ellipses. So that tends to be. I think I did a Control F for gasp. Often it's spelled wrong, so you can't take it entirely thing. But there were 32 gasping.
Yeah, I will leave the textual analysis to someone who has immense patience because there is no ability to search anything.
Right.
Obviously.
That's it for that, though. I think it ends with Draco is crying because she sees her hanging out with Vampire.
Oh, that's a real chapter ender, yeah. There's a lot of crying, and from Draco and Vampire, though, right? Most.
Yeah, they cry. People cry tears of blood. They cry while running out of places. They cry while suddenly running out of places.
Right. Chapter 21.
Yeah. This starts to get more confusion that I'm not sure if you're going to pick up on it, but if you know the Harry Potter universe, there were some weird swaps going on here.
I do not know the universe. I should, but it's one of those things that I don't need to know it anymore, so flush it out of the RAM.
Right. Well, you remember Filch.
Oh, Filch is my favorite character by far. So yes, I remember him.
Well, so he's now retitled as Filth.
Oh, okay.
So, and I was like, this is another case where she sort of has improved on JK's world here.
Yes.
But he's the janitor in the book, and his cat is Mrs. Norris. So this, though, he says, we saw the janitor, Mr. Norris, shouting angrily with the flashlight in his hand. Who's there? He shouted angrily. We saw Filth come. He went under the invisibility cloak and started to meow loudly. So she has swapped the roles there. The cat is the janitor, and the janitor is the cat.
Oh. I did not know that. I thought he was just pretending to be a cat.
This is my read into the situation.
Oh, okay. Well, that's because of my lack of knowledge of the universe. Yeah. But it's a strong sentence. So earmuffs for the children.
Yes.
And please know, I'm just parroting the words. This is not me. This is
this is a standing warning going forward.
This is our intrepid author. No, fuck you, you preppy little poser son of a fucking bitch. Vampire said under his breast in a disgusted way. So,
but then
is that to the cat or what? I don't.
That's to the cat who is now the janitor.
Okay.
And the cat who is now the janitor has, I thought, just an amazing reaction. So he says all that, you probably little poser son of a fucking bitch. The janitor's reaction, excuse me? Excuse me? Who said that? And I just loved the dual excuse me's. Just a very polite way of responding. And all caps, excuse me.
I like to think of them in the voice of like David Niven or something like that. Pardon me. Yes. Pardon me.
Right. If we're taking it at face value, and they all are British still.
Yes.
But then I guess as the cat or the janitor are coming up to sort of peek under the invisibility cloak, Vampire Frenches her, which causes Draco to run away sobbing yet again.
Steady on, man. Steady on.
Yeah, everyone's just wildly unstable here. Which then, I guess they follow him, and they see him crying and busting into tears, slitting his wrists outside of the school. So if you saw someone slitting their wrists outside of the school, what would your reaction be?
Gasp, I guess.
Most times you'd be correct. This time she says, "Are you okay?"
Oh, okay. Is this in chapter 21?
This is still 21, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But then his reaction to saying, "Are you okay?" he says, "I guess." So I guess he sort of it's one of those shake it off kind of slits your wrist type of moments.
Oh, there it is. Okay. I guess, though, Draco weeped. So, yeah, that's pretty much a standing thing going forward. Yes.
Yeah.
He's just a wreck. He's just a mess.
Right. And she finds that wildly attractive.
Mascara constantly running.
But how do they decide to, cheer him up after this depressing incident?
Frenching with him?
Well, of course. I think that's probably implied. But they go back to their room and watch the 1999 Bill Pullman and Bridget Fonda giant alligator movie Lake Placid.
Not Lake Placid 2. I believe there was 2 or 3, right?
Yeah, when I went to verify it, because I did see that, I think when it came out on video, there was it was the first movie in the Lake Placid series on the Wikipedia page. So,
wow, yeah. What is Fug and the Mystery of Magic?
That one was that one took me a while too, but it was revealed in the next chapter.
Okay, so these are new characters, not part of the HP universe.
Turns out they are. So cause that is revealed in the next chapter just by context clues. That is Cornelius Fudge. You remember him?
Oh, no, I don't. Was he kind of a hefty kid?
No, he's an adult. He's like the minister of magic.
Oh, okay.
He's like the eventually
Robert Hardy, my favorite actor.
I don't remember who he played. I don't think so. Cornelius Fudge sort of turns into a villain. He's sort of like the Voldemort gets his hooks into him or something. Not really important, but
wait. So what switches from being a good guy to a villain in the Harry Potter
believe
universe?
Believe it or not, yeah. He's he's pretty like the propaganda, like all is well, there is no Dark Lord type of thing. He's not coming back. That's, but yeah. So Fug is Fudge, but that was again the very hard. It makes sense in retrospect.
and the mystery of magic. So that's the Minister of Magic?
Yes, or like the Ministry. Yeah, I guess so. The Minister of Magic. Yep, exactly.
Okay. Because it's not a bad name for, if, like The Situation or something,
Right.
The Mystery of Magic.
A first-person self-assigned nickname. Or it would be like a good Wu-Tang song. The Mystery of Chess Boxing is an actual song. So.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, that ends on a bang then. I guess that's supposed to be a gasping moment. Fug and the Mystery of Magic.
Yeah, it doesn't get an 87 period ellipses, but it is, I think, very gaspy.
It gets an exclamation point and a 1. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You want to sell the virtues of Chapter 22's author note, or?
Oh no, go ahead. I didn't jot that one down.
No, I don't. I was, as I said, I've started to skip it. But
okay. Yeah, a lot of them are about the preps and the Flamen, but this one I did not take any notes about.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's Raven is referenced again. It's Raven's fault.
Oh,
so
crap.
I don't know. This is like Raven is on the outs now, or what?
I think usually she starts to blame things. We'll see it later. That if there is a mistake, it can be Raven's fault. But don't forget, Raven was her character was killed off in the last time because of some incident behind the scenes.
I only knew that because I read the extensive. There's a whole site dedicated, of course, to this book, and I spent a few minutes digging into it, and I only knew that Raven would die and come back without warning a couple times. But I probably would not have noticed that.
So again, is that trolling? Then you have to assume that when that happened in Space Mutiny, that was also, an intentional troll, like that woman who died and was in the next scene like nothing had happened.
I'm told that the writing of this was extensive. It was long, and she would say, I can't do it this week or whatever. So it seems like there's a lot of forgetting where she was, if it was real.
Oh, sure.
Forgetting and going, on vacation. She claimed to live in Abu Dhabi, I think. Or maybe Dubai.
That comes out of that's shocking to me. I did not know that.
I think it's Dubai because she spells it W.
Wow.
So I don't know what.
So the scholars have sort of analyzed it and determined that that's what they meant by Dubai.
The scholars have spoken, and that's the consensus. Yes, yeah, it's possible. But others say it could be some small town, and there's some other misspelling. So anyway,
wow,
let's not. Yeah, so look on the site. It's fascinating reading
there. Chapter 22. The first thing I have is just a delightful description of what the outfit descriptions sort of run together, but this was a standout of what Bloody Mary is wearing. She is wearing a tight black poofy gothic dress that she had ripped so it showed of all her clearage, with a white apron that said Bic and other swear words and MCR lyrics on it, kind of like one dress I had seen Amy Lee wear once. And Bic, B-I-C-H is so if that's how it's spelled on her apron, that's delightful.
That is one of those instances, like you said, it's a Taco Bell menu, right? But sometimes they mash those ingredients together, and it's like, I'm sorry, that's just my favorite Taco Bell thing. And this was somehow the way they layer it and the way they put it together made it good. And this one, it's one of those good Taco Bell items.
Or they put the soft taco with the refried beans around the crispy taco. It was like... Someone was stoned, I know, but like, damn it, that really works.
Yeah, it's a texture thing. Yep.
And we get some new characters here too. This is a great mention. Darkness (parentheses) who is Jenny was there too.
Oh man, I missed that.
Well, that's the first mention of Darkness and Jenny. So it's I think
who is Jenny? Wow.
But yeah, no idea how they're going to factor into anything. But we got to keep an eye out for them.
That is, also very. When reading the Bible, it can get confusing because Cephas, whose name is Peter. Well, then that happens a lot. People just have two names.
I was playing the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy game when I was like 8, and there's a text game. It's very bad, but I was reading, hints about it, and it was like, well, when you're 4, do you have to go and do this? And I was like, become Ford. And it was like, you're still Arthur. And it was like, well, damn it. Like, if I could become darkness, who is Jenny? Like,
Yes.
from within one, there is many.
My chapter 22 is mostly, I don't know how, I have so many dumb sentences, but I don't know if I should leave that for...
I'd say hit them up, and we'll, if there's anything that we haven't burnt at the end, or just do every other one.
All right. Since I have 3 before this, so it's
okay.
Fine. OMFG, I yielded as I jumped up. I don't even know what does that mean?
Well, I mean, what has happened to provoke her OMFGing?
I yielded?
Yelled?
Oh. But it happens,
she
says it a lot, yielded. So I thought it was trying to, like, I'm giving up. I'm yelling.
She could be,
okay.
Yielding her time at a hearing.
Guess I should have used Occam's razor on that one again. Just a misspelling.
There's also a couple new, well, not new characters for Harry Potter, but new here. Crabbe and Goyle, they're Draco's toadies in the book. They get introduced, and it turns out there's like a complicated family tree for them too. They're all have the same dad as Darkness, who is Jenny. Diabolo, who is Neville. Crabbe and Goyle's dad was also a vampire. He committed suicide by slitting his wrist with the razor. He had raped them and stuff before too. They all got so depressed they became Gothic and converted to Stanism. So again, a lot going on.
Oh my gosh.
And so the Crabbe and Goyle are now part of the thing, and so their little circle is expanding here.
I'm going to leave that stuff to you. You'll have to explain.
I don't think they have a very big role going on. I think she was probably hearing into the comments of like, why are Crabbe and Goyle not hanging out with Draco?
The clothing description in this one, her description, not as good, do you think? So I put on some black eyeliner, black lipstick, and red eyeshadow and white foundation. Then I came. We all went outside. A fucking prep call. Brittany from Gryffindor was standing next to us. She was wearing a pink mini and a Hillary Duff t-shirt. So we put up our middle fingers at her.
You don't think that's as good?
Well, I'm just in combination. I guess it's pretty good.
She sort of spent all her clothing capital in this chapter on Bloody Mary's outfit.
Yes, yeah. So
the Hillary Duff hate continues unabated, and Brittany sort of starts to. She comes up more than once too, and Brittany does not have a good go. I don't remember if there's a term for a character who exists just to be like punished in a book, like to. But it's sort of like a Coen Brothers character where they introduce a character and then just heap misery upon them.
Right. Oh, poor Hillary. But then it gets into caps lock territory at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any of those noted.
I do. Fudge starts yelling. They are. She says the Bark Lord is planning to kill the students. That sounds like an Air Bud sequel. Right. But then I guess this is all shouting at Dumbledore. They say, "You are not fit to be principal any longer," yelled Rumbridge. "You are too old, and your Alzheimer's is dangerous."
That's the first mention, right?
I think so. But it's she's again reading into sort of the subtext of what J.K. had put out there.
Oh, was that a thing that he?
No. But like you could infer that based on like that first Dumbledore, like in the first two movies, where he's just like, Harry,
Yeah, he was. Well, I mean, that was Richard Harris after 700 million gallons of whiskey and 47 trillion cigarettes. So I don't know that was supposed to be the character trait, that he was barely alive.
Right. It was too big to give notes to, I suppose.
Yes.
But yeah, they're sort of just in a taking away Grandpa's driver's license type of intervention here.
But then the ellipses one, Dumbledore responds very well. Dumbledore said angrily, weirdly not capitalized, "But we cannot do this. We can't close the school. There's only one person who is capable of killing Voldemort, and she is in the school, and her name is..." And then, man, I wish I could count these. I wish there was an easy way to do that.
Yeah, it's really hard.
It's got to be high 30s, 40s maybe. Ebony, Darkness, Dementia, Ravenway.
So people had probably like fully turned to her to stare at her by the time he finished saying her name.
Right.
And after they say that, Draco, Crab, Goyle, Darkness, Willow, Vampire, and Bloody Mary looked at each other. I gasped.
That one only gets like 20 ellipses. A little
Yeah, that one's pathetic.
Yeah.
I think that's how that chapter ends.
Yeah. So chapter 23.
Mm-hmm. I didn't take notes a ton of the plot. I think they're being brought in to speak to a teacher who's punishing them here.
You're asking me?
I don't know. What is your
plot.
What is your first note here?
Well, my first note is even if this is a troll, what does this mean? Mr. Way, what the beep are you doing? Rumridge shouted angrily. Dumbledore blared at her. Oops, she made a mistake. He corrupted her. She means hi, everybody, come in.
Okay. So, yeah, I looked at that. I think I can parse a bit of that.
Oh, okay, go.
I think what has happened is that Rumbridge, who is Umbridge in the real book, has mistaken. Draco looks so much like the totally hot goth singer of MCR, Gerard Way, that she has mistaken him for Gerard Way. And perhaps that's because they've played approximately 36 concerts in Hogsmeade over the past week, and so she knows he's in town. So she says, she calls him Mr. Way. Dumbledore says she made a mistake, but she doesn't. The mistake he acknowledges is not that she called him the wrong name. It's that she was rude and said she meant to say come in or something like that.
And corrupted her is corrected her?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what the beep are you doing?
Is beep all caps?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe she's...
Everything's all caps. Mr. Way, what the beep are you doing? Rumbridge shouted angrily.
Maybe that was the one time that Raven told her to pare down on the profanity and she listened.
That's putting a lot of thought into that.
Look, that's what we're here for. We are scholars.
My other note in this is a good one. It's a sonic challenge.
Oh, God. No.
Yeah, I wish I had I wish this is the one time I wish we had the soundboard, like a DJ. Sonic challenge.
Sonic.
Yes. Here it is. No, I screamed sexily.
God damn it. All right, let me sort of back off the mic. Okay.
Yeah, please.
No.
Oh, dear.
That's sort of like a moan scream. I don't know.
Oh, worse than I could have possibly imagined.
Now we can cue that up on the soundboard for next time.
That's right.
This was one I had to look up to. I think they're all taken into the principal's office. Crab and Goyle started to make some morbid jokes. They both looked exactly like Villy Volo. And I had to look that one up. That was not
this I didn't bother to look up, but what in the hell?
He's the lead singer of the gothic Finnish, like Finland, rock band HIM, HIM, and they are the first Finnish band to have a gold record in the U.S.
Oh, what's the song?
I've never heard of them. I didn't look it up, but a listener did make I think her name was Justine, made a playlist on Spotify of every song mentioned in this book. So we should probably, I tweeted that out, but everyone should check that out. And I encourage us both to listen to it before we record the next episode.
I would guess it can't be that many, right? She's a pretty tight group of things that she likes here. It's pretty select.
Yeah,
right?
but there's some chapter titles that are song titles.
Okay, yeah.
I think some bands were just mentioned, so she inferred it. I am looking at it. It appears to have at least 36 songs on it.
Okay.
It is 2 hours and 50 minutes of music. So maybe we could listen to some choice excerpts from it.
Yes. Plot-wise, do you have any idea what's going on? In 23, I just see more. There's tears of blood and down my face.
She looks like she's getting possessed, like in The Ring 2.
Yeah.
But I think they are going to have to use, I'm not sure if this is, she has a vision of the two dads being attacked, and so that's what they have to go to Professor Sinister to ask for help. Pretty
great ending. It put me in mind of Tommy Wiseau. the last sentence of the book. I'll read into it. "It's okay, girl," said Bloody Mary. "Maybe you should ask Professor Sinister about what the visions mean, though." "Okay, bitch," I said sadly, and then we went.
That's exactly. What is he? It's
she's telling him to like, bitch.
Yes, because he's weeping after their party or something.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that's chapter 23. So I guess they're going to go talk to the professor about the visions.
Yes, Professor Sinister is, as we revealed in chapter 4, she's the coolest fucking teacher ever. She has long, dead black hair. So again, kind of Tommy Wiseau, with blood red tips and red eyes. Parentheses, her mom was a vampire. She's also half Japanese, so she speaks it in everything. She and Bloody Mary get along great. So I don't know that Professor Sinister has an analog in the Potterverse. I think she might just be an
invention of? Or
yeah,
author?
I think she's just sort of another, self-insert of what you would assume a cool teacher would be like.
Wow.
But
okay.
she's like the, sitting on her desk teacher. She's spinning a chair around and straddling it backwards, sort of like Michelle Pfeiffer in Dangerous Minds.
Yeah, she's speaking to the kids in their own language. She's pretty foul-mouthed, too, isn't she?
Yeah, well, she's the coolest fucking teacher ever.
It's true.
There was also another thing where she said we went inside the black classroom with pastors of Emily the Strong.
Oh yeah,
and I had to look.
What is that?
I mean, the pastors threw me for a loop. Emily the Strong sounds like it could be some sort of like legendary hero of myth, but I looked it up. Emily the Strange is what it actually is. It's an advertising mascot character featured in several books, graphic novels, and merchandise and clothing lines. And so it looks like, if you imagine like a Tim Burton sketch or like an internet-y cartoon of a goth girl, it's sort of what that looks like.
Sure. And I assume that there was not, Father Smith and Father Jones, her pastors, were not there. I assume that was a poster misspelling.
Yes, very much so.
All right.
But she gives some preps a middle finger because they don't know what Hop Topic is. And then Professor... Well, they're in... What is her name? Professor Sinister?
Sinister. Are you in chapter 24?
24?
Yeah. Okay.
But then the professor says, "Okay, class fucking dismissed, everyone," and let everyone go. And I was like, that is very cool, actually. That would have been the coolest teacher in my high school.
She let everyone go except for you, Brittany. She pointed at Brittany and some of the other preps. Please do exercise. That gets a get it. A 1 on page 3. So
yeah. But Brittany is Brittany's in. She's sort of the voodoo doll for every prep there is.
Yep, and her punishment here is to do exercise 1 on page 3. So, she gets some comeuppance there.
And then suddenly there was a knock at the door. Suddenly is just doing a lot of heavy lifting in this book. I think it was used 72 times, but also was spelled wrong. But it's used anytime something happens.
Yes.
So there was a knock at the door. It can be omitted from there. It was Draco. He was looking very sexy. Wearing, any guesses what he might be?
I'd be cheating. It's right in front of my face.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll give us the description.
Black leather facet, black gothic Linkin Park T-shirt, and Blake Congress shoes. I assume that's a brand.
Converse, yeah.
Oh, Converse.
Yes.
Come on.
Again, I lowered my IQ trying to figure this out. It was like a cryptic word search or something.
I just assumed it was, like Nixon watches, Congress shoes. I don't know.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it could be. I could be making a huge gaffe here.
Okay, but how do you look? If that's not trolling, you can't make that misspelling.
Sure. Because she spelled Lincoln correctly. Lincoln is spelled wrong in the real name. It's Linkin. So
right. And then, do you want to give Professor Sinister's, and again, strong language warning?
I don't have it. I just last thing I had was what's his name appearing.
I don't know if I probably shouldn't even read it.
Go. It's not, we've said everything.
Yeah, but
a
gentleman doesn't say this. She says to Brittany and the other preps, "Okay, you can go now. See ya, you C word," said Professor.
Oh, right. that was strong. That was.
And then she follows up with, "Bye, bitch," I said, waving. So.
Oh, there needs to be a retelling from Brittany's point of view where it's like, I don't know why she hates me. Like, I brought her cookies. Like, I thought if I had done anything wrong, I would have, tried to atone. But
I saw her slitting her wrist once. I got help for her immediately. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. But Professor Sinister, extremely cool. Calling a student that is very cool.
So cool.
But yeah, so we'll keep an eye on what Brittany has to do. But chapter 25 starts with another introduction of a off-screen character in an author's note. It says, "Stop flaming, okay? If you didn't, then I'll tell Justin to bet you up, and I'll tell all the nerds to put Virtues in your computer." So this is not the first appearance of Justin. Chapter 1, author's note, it said, "Justin, you're the love of my depressing life. You rock. MCR rocks." So
it's as tantalizing as the Van Morrison song in the days before rock and roll where Justin is mentioned. And you have to figure out, yes. Justin.
Is he the guy who lets the goldfish go?
Yeah. No, we let the goldfish go, so they did it with Justin.
That's not a real person? Like, there's no speculation about who he is?
No. There's an obscure jockey is mentioned in the middle of it. Anyway, Justin. Yeah, that just put me in mind of that.
Wow.
The enigmatic Justins showing up in great works of art.
That is. It's the webs that she weaves here is truly, I think, if you assume that this is cannot be done just as a isolated idiot, it draws from the entire Western canon.
That's true. My first note is another one of those, I honestly don't know what this means, but it seems like you have done Talmudic study of this, so you can probably tell me. He took out a heroin cabaret and spiked it. Sorry. I can't get through this. And I gave it to me to spork.
This is the one that I couldn't figure out.
Okay.
I have absolutely no idea.
For anyone out there, he took out a heroin cabaret and spiked it and gave it to me to spork.
Heroin, if spiking it means, putting, sucking the heroin up into your needle, spiking it.
What's a heroin cabaret? I mean, I'd love
to
go to
I have no
one.
idea. Yeah, that's where Roy Schneider is strung out, and he's
right.
But I have no idea. I don't know even what like a slant rhyme equivalent could be.
Okay, maybe it is. I mean, maybe it's 100% correct, and these are slang terms that are on the nose, and we just don't know them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Gave it to me to spork. I mean, you heat up heroin in a spoon. You put the lighter under it, but
sure. But
again,
you don't want to do that with a spork though, because you'll have a meltdown on your hands.
It would run down the tines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's delightful. If anyone knows, please let us know. If anyone has a theory, let us know.
Yes, please.
And then they bang again in the coffin, but it doesn't speak well of Draco's sort of prowess. It says, "We stated Frenching passively. Suddenly, I fell asleep."
Yes. All things happen suddenly, really. I mean, if you think about it, in a book. Generally they just occur.
Sure, if it's that theory of like you can never actually get to something because you're always just getting halfway there increasingly. Nothing happens suddenly. It's all everything happens suddenly if it does, from 1 microsecond to the next.
Yeah. This whole chapter is upsetting. Again, I did not enjoy trying to parse this one, but I will say this is another, I don't know what's going on. We started tiling of each other's clothes fervently. He took of my black Blake thong and my black leather bar. I took of his black boxers. Then, I'm sorry, folks. Yes. This is on the page. He put his throbbing you-know-what in my tool sexily. Now, again, this is very upsetting because these are 17-year-olds.
Sure, yes. But yeah, so fervently unexpected. Tool, maybe it's like her heroin cabaret. I don't know.
Yes, okay. But I guess we started tiling of each other's clothes. I guess that's taking off each other's clothes. Yeah,
that one, Raven really dropped the ball on that one because, talking off each other's clothes. There we go. I mean, that's a misspelling that you can understand at least.
I bet
tearing. It could be tearing. I don't know if that's the more fervent version of taking.
I wonder if Raven had the thick red grease pencil around it, and she angrily wrote "ibid" after it. No, what is the term to? No, stet. I'm sorry, stet. Yeah, stet. Yeah.
Raven's just like, I tried. It's a partnership, and I try.
I mean, what you're saying is that they're tiling someone with cloves. I mean, let it stand. It is what it is. Yeah. I have written what I have written.
Yeah, we're 25 chapters into here, and I know you have a vision. So I want to make sure we achieve that vision together.
Right.
And part of that vision includes branded merchandise that does not exist in the real world, because she here has a vision of Lucian and Sirius, the two dads of Vampire and Draco, being attacked. So she starts to cry. Tears of blood went down my face. I told Draco to call Vampire. He did it with his black Linkin Park mobile. So Linkin Park has branded out into the mobile phone sphere in this world. So that's a untapped merchandising opportunity in the real world. So she's a visionary.
But mobile? Is that a little hint of her? Is she British?
Oh, that could be, yeah. Or the Dubai influence.
Ah, yes, that could be.
She spent a semester in Dubai, and she comes back with a very consciously saying the slang and affecting an accent.
Yeah. Well, let's get the internet sleuths on that. I think we hit on something.
That's all I have for that chapter.
Yeah, same here. I think these start to pick up here because we're getting a lot of repetition. We'll try to tease Conor will try to tease the plot out, but otherwise,
sure. But there's still surprises. Sure. Don't worry. Yeah.
Sure. What do you have for chapter 26?
26 is fairly short. They tell Dumbledore that Harry and Draco's stepdads have been shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dumbledore started to cockle, ha 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 ha, and how do you expect me to know Ebony's not divisional? I think that means delusional. And then we get into like a weird, not even a perspective changed really, but this is Ebony speaking. Okay, this is Ebony responding to Dumbledore, accusing her of being divisional. Look, motherfucker. He said angrily as Dumbledore gasped. C is the toot of Crackter. I don't know what that means. You know very well I'm not decisional. Now get some fucking people out here to look for Sirius and Lucian Pornto.
Yes. I just have help with a question mark written next to that whole thing. And I look to you.
Yeah. I don't know. I think she's just taking influence from the coolest teacher ever, Professor Sinister, by addressing the headmaster in such a disrespectful manner.
But who's he?
That's what I'd say. She's referring to herself in the third person by a different gender. Like, it's next level stuff here.
How? Why? What?
I looked at it a dozen times trying to think if it was one of the two guys that she's with, Harry or Vampire or Draco. But she said, you know very well I'm not decisional. When he had accused Ebony of being divisional. I sound like I'm insane on a street corner.
Wow, I don't know, man. Okay. I guess that's a working theory.
Yeah, and that's the only time it's happened. It's the only time that Ebony refers to herself as he. So I think just another Raven probably just either was in Transylvania herself or was cheating on her with Justin or something.
All right. Well, I don't. That's all I have for. That's what I had for chapter 26 because that's a puzzler.
Well, and there was one just example of rich, vivid storytelling that is Tara's hallmark. She says they're in Longden. I told him which street. He went and called some people and did some stuff.
Hey, it's efficient.
Yes, so it is very Hemingway. But then after he calls the people who does some stuff, they bring the two guys in on stretchers. So they've managed to go to Longden and recover them, but not before they've been attacked, I guess.
And it was after a few mistunes he came back. So, I assume minutes.
Oh, wow. Mistunes are what MCR was trying to play before it was revealed that it was Voldemort taking off the mask at the Hogsmeade concerts.
For 27, I just have, as the author's note, is evidence that this is not a human being or a serious human being.
What does it have to say?
Well, I mean, it's impenetrable. You know what, 1111. I didn't give a fuck what you preps think about me, 1111. So stop flaming the fucking story. Bichets, 1111 fangs to Ravenford. Your love, no love and sport help. I love you, girl says I couldn't update. Lol, I was really depressed. I silly must rise. I had to go to the hospital. Raven, you rock, girl. And then 75 ones.
Wait, what's the part before having to go to the hospital?
Was really depressed and I slit my wrists and I had to go to the hospital. Raven, you rock, go.
Well, I assume we can take that with the same grain of salt as her trip to Transylvania.
Yes.
But yeah, you need to take a little walk around the block because it's like looking at one of those magic eye puzzles or something. You start to get a headache if it happens too long, or a 3D movie without 3D glasses.
Yes, yeah. That's why I tend to skip it, but that one made me think, no, it can't be. But, I guess I haven't texted with a 14-year-old, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think you would be very irritated if you tried to do that. Or, I mean, we did a TikTok challenge. We went on there and you couldn't even figure out which way you were supposed to shoot the video. So, the idea of how these people are communicating it's scary stuff.
Thanks for bringing that up. And by the way, I had a lot of support on that.
Was there?
Yes. Who wants a video? I don't want it that way. Everybody wants a video that way.
Wow. I'm
you
sorry.
You don't go to a movie screen and flip the screen upside down.
Quibi does, and that's why they're so successful. I'm not even sure if that's how you say that.
You're a prep.
Well, this starts off with a good one. I'm going to issue it as a Sonic challenge. Come on, Anaby, said Professor Sinatra. I have to tell you the fucking perdition. And I don't know what the second part means, but let's Professor Sinatra. Let's hear him say that.
What is he saying again? Let me see if I can find.
Come on, Anaby.
Come on, Ebony. Yeah, okay. Come on, Anaby. I have to tell you the fucking perdition. I don't trust Sinatra, obviously.
What do you mean by perdition, Professor Sinatra?
Get out of here. Here's $2, baby, because that's all you're worth.
He's the second coolest teacher in the school. Oh, but I think that's the same teacher. I believe that's also Professor Sinister. And what does perdition mean? Yeah.
Perdition? I mean, in this obviously context, he's not using it in the correct way, so I have to tell you perdition. My prediction?
Predicament?
Predicament.
Her predicament lacks its usual cheer?
Yes.
I don't even remember that it's from, but it's from Santa Claus? Yeah, Santa and the Ice Cream
Bunny. Santa and the Ice Cream Bunny, yes.
Okay, so she sort of lays out, she advances the plot quite a bit here. She started to look into a black crucible ball. She said, lengthy ellipses, Terra. So the author self-insert, very obvious right here. I see Drac times are near, she said badly.
She certainly did, because she doesn't know how to use the word dark, so she did say it badly.
Very poorly. She peered into Debal's. You see, you must go back in time. And so this is, again, this is what happens in the third book of Harry Potter. There's some time travel involved. When Voldemort was in Hogwarts, before he became powerful, he got his hearth broken. A little Swedish chef here. Now you think he would still become Volksmort if he was still in love? I shook my head. You must go back in time and seduce him. So it's she's 27 chapters, but we finally really have a plot point here.
Yeah, I confess that I only realized that this was actually happening well past having read the entire reading assignment. I just didn't know that it had happened, and then I read a plot. I read my own plot synopsis that someone posted,
got it.
And I was like, "Oh, she was back in time." Okay, did not pick up on that.
Well, it is very obtuse, and it gets even more. But yeah, so she's already encountered Voldemort a bunch. I believe she shot him. She's yelled at him. She's flammed him. Mm-hmm. She's been at a concert where he was performing as MCR frontman Gerard Way multiple times, but now she's going back in time to make it even more complicated to kill him.
How do you get Voldemort and Volksmort within the same paragraph? I mean, Voldemort is actually pretty good.
That would be a merchandising opportunity.
That's like a Tim and Eric kind of thing, he'd mispronounce it that way, but then he'd make the product, and that's all I have for that.
Well, they once they celebrate that Lucius and Sirius are being found, and they really pull out all the stops. They were cheesing my name. Some reporters were there trying to interview Dumbledore. A banner was put up. Lots of fucking preps were there, obviously trying to be gothic, wearing the hymn sign on their hands. That is Volley Valo. That's his band. And their sign is like a pentagram, but half of it's a heart, which is like,
okay.
If she said that, you would be like, well, that's obviously the stupidest thing that a teenager has ever thought of, but most successful Finnish band of all time.
Yeah.
And then it says a black and red cake had been brought out. So they really are going all out to celebrate her triumph here.
Oh, and that's where I have a question for you. I do have one more, sorry.
Sure.
Crabbe and Goik set up some fireworks in the shape of skulls from Winsley's Wizard Wises. What?
So,
what?
So in the book, the two older Weasley brothers, the twins, who one of them has now, he's, in every movie.
Yeah.
They opened up I think they got kicked out of school, and they opened up a magic shop or a joke shop called Weasley's Wizard Wheezes.
Oh.
I guess a wheeze might be like British slang or something. But that's where you'd go to get your smoke bombs or your jelly beans that taste like bile or whatever.
Okay, so Wesley's Wizard Wises is Weasley's Wizard Wheezes. Gotcha.
Again, lateral move from the best-selling book of all time.
Sure. And then at the end of the chapter, she does put on her invisibility coat.
That goes along with her heroin cabaret. I think you take the invisibility coke, and then when you need to come down, you bring out the cabaret,
and then you spork it.
Speaking of sporking, in the next chapter,
yes,
there's things here that I'm sure you don't want to read.
There certainly are.
They're incredibly funny.
I'll leave it to you. I said I had one note, and then I said I have nothing to say about the rest of this chapter.
What's your note?
It's just a let me see. Oh, Ibabi. Ibabi is her name. So Ebony, I think, is done now. I don't think she ever spells it Ebony again.
Oh,
so this was the first Ibabi, and then it turns into Igoji, and then obviously Anabi is by far the most, but Ibabi is a new one, and I don't think there were any more Ebonies that after that, at least in this reading.
Wow.
But again, I'm not studying it with Talmudic precision.
We'll have to keep an eye out. Keep the misspelled count versus regular going forward. Well, they're going to get busy again, and she takes off Draco's MCR shrift and seductively took of his pants. He was hung like a Stallone, and we get no specificity. So I'm going to assume that it's Frank Stallone going forward.
Yeah. And that was Frank Stallone.
You guessed it. And then he puts his Spock in her you-know-what, and we passively did it. And it took me a long time to figure out what was going on with that one, but I prefer just to keep it as a logical Vulcan here.
Yes.
And oh, by the way, Vampire is filming him the whole time, and then Snape and McGonagall burst in suddenly, of course.
Right.
Yeah, that's that's really about all you need to do with that. But except the stage is set that they now have a camera that Snape is going to use to try to blackmail them.
I would just point out again to return to the Sex Man analogy. You kind of we watch Sex Man a little bit through fingers over your eyes, peeking through your fingers, going, "I hope an adult intervenes."
Right.
But then you would see adults in his videos and go, why aren't you stopping this?
Yes.
And that is my view of this. I hope that at some point someone took her computer away and forbade her to watch whatever was inspiring her to write this garbage.
Well, who would have defended her against all the preps who were flamming her is, this is a message about my daughter. I've called the police and the cyber police, and I swear to God.
Yeah.
The mustache guy kneeling down and pointing at the camera while his daughter, who is pretty much dressed like this character, weeps in the background.
Yep. So unexpected to have a Yosemite Sam guy enter that video, and he was one of my heroes.
What was
you
her
done
name?
goofed.
Oh, yeah.
You done goofed. Yeah. And then he blasted his pistols into the ground and rose up off of the floor.
Yosemite Sam. I learned his full name the other day. Do you know what it is?
Oh, I don't. Cosmo?
This was good. Where the hell was it?
Yeah, where are you going to learn?
Oh, his full name, Samuel Rosenbaum.
Really?
Yes. It was. It's tracked back to something. It's on Wikipedia.
Wow, that is unexpected.
Yes. That girl's name was Jessie Slaughter, and she is pretty much. Of course, that's not her name, but that was her internet name. And so I think that you look at her, and that's pretty much our author here.
That is, I guess that's true. Yeah.
Her dad was probably like close to my age in that video. I have just been informed that Lauren's coworker heard me imitating the "You Done Goofed" dad over their conference call.
Oh dear! Did she recognize it though?
It did not sound like she recognized the reference.
Okay.
And I think so. She just heard in the background shouting about the police and cyber police.
Oh, again, what have we done with our lives?
I guess so. But we can do 29. What do you got for 29? There's some good stuff in 29.
I think I pretty much just started writing, these are all just dumb sentences now.
Right.
So I guess I can spill this one. Come now, all caps. Come, C-U-M, of course. Exclamation point, 1, exclamation point. Preacher McGonagall yielded. We did guiltily. We left the room, putting on our clothes. Snoop garbed the caramel and put it in his pocket. So, again, I think I can understand what's going on, but it is not easy lifting.
Garbing the caramel sounds like either a penalty in hockey or some weird sex act.
Something you do in British snooker or something.
Right, yes.
I'm gobbing the caramel, mate.
Oh, that's a very difficult shot. He's attempting to gob the caramel. But when he garbs the caramel, this is one of my top 3 things in the book so far. I think she responds. So that's taking the camera that Vampire had been filming them with. She says, "Hey, what the fuck? 111." Vampire shoot it angrily, and then I think, then Draco says, "Yeah, Buster." What the fuck are you gonna do with the fucking camera? And I don't even know what Buster means. Like, I don't even know what the stereotype of someone who would call someone Buster would be. That's like a little rascal almost.
Yeah, I mean what's the I can't think of it. The Bowery Boys.
Oh, yes.
Hey, Buster. I'm just sore is all.
So that made me laugh quite a bit.
Yeah, puzzling stuff. My next one. Look, Dumbledore knows your little secret, and if you do this again, then you will go to Saint Mango's. So give back the camera. This time it is camera. Okay. 11111.
Okay.
But Dumbledore and then knows is spelled Noes. So.
And Saint Mango's, I had no idea.
Yeah, what that was my only question. But you don't.
Azkaban is the prison. Azkaban is the prison, so there's no way you're talking about that. So I don't know.
Azkaban comes up in this, though, right?
Probably. It's got to have. But and then Vampire and Snoop both took out guns using magic. They started to shoot each other angrily. None of the bullets get each other yet. I took out my wand. And then I think my only notes are just about plot after here from chapter 29. Plot, it's, of course, heavy air quotes, but McGonagall chains them all up, and then Snape laughs, and then took out some whips.
Right.
And that's where this stops.
Here's one more question, though. Draco started to cry, all sexy and sexative. Get it? Because he's a sex bomb, LOL. Tom Felnott rules for life. But not as much as Gerard or sex on legs. I love you. Fokang Rock, marry me, 111.
So Tom Felnott is, I just looked it up. Tom Felton is the guy who played Draco.
Oh, God. Tom Felnott rules for life, but nut as much as Gerard, you are sex on. Oh, you are. She's then calling out Gerard and saying, "Your sex on legs."
Yeah.
I love you. You rock, marry me. Okay, she's spelling everything is spelled wrong, so it's
Yes, I think she has a theory that if she doesn't tell Gerard how hot he is every 3 chapters or so, he might forget. So that's why it comes up so often.
I see. So the little aside: she loves Tom Felton, but please, Gerard, do not think that I'm not all in on you. Okay.
Yes, because I think Gerard would probably be like, reading in the next room, and he'd come in sort of just like, takes off his glasses and is like, read the last couple chapters. Didn't acknowledge how fucking hot I am, and kind of hurt by this, Tara.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to see that happen.
Well, before we do chapter 30, we are past the halfway mark, so I think it's probably time to do the last third of My Immortal, or fanfic that our listeners concocted in an effort to fool you. So we're going to do 5 of them. Let's start with number 1. He put in a password and unlocked the computer. Let's see where to begin. Voldemort pondered, then looked at the cannon, seeing 7 holes on it above the console. All right, those spaces are for the 7 Horcruxes. When they're all put into their proper places, the Canaan will be at full charge, and I was not kidding about the whole "this thing can destroy the whole world" part of my evil plot.
Okay. All right, so they're looking at a computer and seeing a picture of something with 7 holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and there's a cannon, and it's spelled Canon and Canaan.
Sure. And it's not referring to the 70s cop show with the large cop. No.
Cannon.
Yes.
A Quinn Martin production.
Well done. I'm going to say that is real.
Oh, wow. All right. Let's see. Number 2. I bet you've never heard of GC, James said. No, I knew what the iPod was chonging into. Morty McFly's Tim machine. Shut up, Jones, Draco's dad shouted. Yeah, shut up, Snake said preppily. No, you shut up, Dumbledore, said Tom. I've had enough of you Satanists in my school, shouted Dumbledore spuriously. Suddenly, I grabbed the iPod from him. Everyone jump in before it's too late. I jumped into it, but only one otter person jumped in. It was Satan. You dunderheads, screamed Dumbledore wisely as we went.
Oh, well, it's indistinguishable from what is probably coming up, but I'm going to say that is fanfic.
Okay. Number 3. I got up suicidally. Lucian, Sirius, and Professor Sinister left. I was wearing a black leather nightgun. Under that, I had a sexy black leather bra trimmed with black lace, with a matching thong that said Gothic Girl on the butt, and sexy fishnets that kind hooked onto my thong. If you don't get the idea, massage me, I'll tell you. I put on a black fishnet top under a black MCR t-shirt, a black leather mini with black lace, and Congress shoes. I left the hospital's wings with Bloody Mary, Willow, and Vampire.
Again, perfect. But I'm going to say fanfic.
Okay. Number 4. Fucking posers, I yelled. Why do you not like MCR and GC anymore? They looked down in a preppy way, and Hagrid belched. You are all posers, I screeched, busting out of the room, weeping. Then I had awful thought. What if Draco was a poser? I ran to find him. I got to the Great Hall and saw him at the prep table. He was no Agoth anymore. Neither were Vampire or Bloody Mary or any one. Voldemort's spell worked. I am the only Goth left, I whispered punkily to myself.
Punkily is very nice. I don't know. I'm going to say fanfic.
Okay. And the final one. Crucius! I shouted selectively, pontificating my black wand, and she started screaming cause she was being tortured, and I laughed sadistically. No, help me, please, Brittany screamed terrifiedly. I put up my middle finger at her. In her hand, I saw the video camera Snape and Lumpin had used to take the video of me. I put the tape of Voldemort doing it with Hedwig onto it. Then I continued to round down the stairs with the camera. When I reached the Great Hall, I saw Vampire Potter. OMG Vampira, I yielded. So just as a refresher, Hedwig is Harry Potter's owl.
Yes. Oh, dear. Well, I'm going to aspirationally hope that this is fanfic.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know if you're gonna bring down your average too much this time, but here we go. Let's go through these. Number 1, you said you thought it was real. That was the password in the computer and the 7 Horcruxes. That was fanfic written by Justine. Okay. And she said, she put a little twist. She said, this was some of my own fan fiction from when I was Ebony's age. This was originally Sonic the Hedgehog fan fiction. I switched out Shadow the Hedgehog for Voldemort and the Chaos Emeralds for the Horcruxes.
Wow. Yeah. And still managed to fool me.
So, I don't know. I think we're in too deep, again, to the effect of our intro last time.
Yes.
Number 2, this was the iPod chonged into Morty McFly's Tim machine. You said fanfic, that is real from the final third of the book.
Oh, good heavens.
The third one was her describing her outfit. I mean, that's what all it was. Her describing her outfit with the Gothic girl on the butt of the thong. Mm-hmm. You said fanfic. That is a real description from coming later.
What?
So you're
the word black is used like 37 times.
And yeah, it's all black fishnets. And number 4. So I think you're 1 for 3 at this point. She's the only Voldemort spell had worked. She's the only Goth left. You said fanfic. That was fanfic written by IJC.
I like it as a plot. I think that's a I mean, I don't know if that's where the plot goes, but it's a good.
Yeah, right. No, it would be a good twist of being maybe in the sequel or something. Then the final one. So yeah, that you're 2 for 4. Final one was Brittany is screaming, and Voldemort's sex tape of him and Hedwig. You said fanfic. That is real, so we have that to look forward to.
Jeez.
So yeah, I'm not sure. Brittany is sort of the her plot arc does not sound like it goes in a good way.
Wow. Well, I guess my lack of confidence was at least I was right about that. So
right.
Wow. Impossible.
But yeah, thanks to everyone who wrote in. Very tricky stuff. We appreciate all the people who take the time to do that.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I wish we had put a little forethought and had you be able to do one of these. Obviously,
I know
you can't now. So,
yeah. I don't. I think just as blindfolded dart throwing as you. I mean, how can you? Yeah, it's.
Yeah,
I don't even know what a proper analogy is, but it's trying to fool. Again, the drunken boxing is probably the closest analogy.
Right. All right. Well, back into it. Chapter 30.
Yeah. This starts with a good author's note. She starts to make a really good point. She says, "If you flam, you will be a prep. So all flamers can kiss my ass. Saws for saying Alzheimer's is dangerous, but that's the mystery's opinion, 'cause society basically sucks." So, I mean, she's hit on some truth there, It basically does.
It is true. And it's a clever trap to say, if you flame me, you are a prep. So stop flaming me. Like it's a trap you can't get out of. Like she's set quite a sticky trap. Your denials only prove further what a prep you are. So
exactly. It's a master of logic.
Really?
It's like the rapper Mims, I'm hot 'cause I'm fly. You ain't 'cause you not.
Yes, that is true.
So just by virtue of not being fly, you can therefore never be hot.
Right. These are just things you have to point out. I don't really have much to say about this. I'm just going to read it. Mm-hmm. Again, warning language. "What the fuck are you doing?" I shooted angrily. Snoop laughed meanly. He pulled down his pants. I gasped. There was a dork mark on his you-know-what, 111. He waved his wand, and a knife came. He gave the knife to me. Now knife is spelled correctly. "You must stab Romper," he said to me. "If you don't, then I'll rap Draco." "No, you fucking bastrade," I yielded.
No, you fucking what?
Bastrade.
Oh, bastard. Got it. Yeah, got it.
Bastrade. I yielded. So yelled, come on. Every single time it's yielded?
Yeah, I mean, that requires. Sometimes you just have to look at the keyboard and think about it. Like the I is a whole different thing from yelled, but I don't know. I just liked that he's introduced as Snoop, and then he threatens to rap Draco, so he might just be dropping some bars.
This is where it takes a dark turn, and this is where you really. I mean, I hope this person has gotten help.
Right.
The rest of this chapter, I'll let you take up the.
Okay.
You take up the plot of this.
Well, he starts to make an appearance here, but she says that I think Draco looks exactly like a pentagram between Kurt Cobain and Gerard, and sometimes you got to give the youth credit, because I wouldn't assume that Nirvana was resonating well with a teenager in 2006, but I'm glad that it does. But then she closes her eyes, and for what I think is the first time in the book, actually does something vampiric. She closed her eyes, and using my vampire powers, I sent a telepathic massage to Draco and Vampire so they would destruct Snape. So, I mean, she's been drinking blood and stuff, but other than that, there's been no thing to indicate that she actually is a vampire.
That's true. There really hasn't been, turning into a bat and flying into anyone's window at any time. So
exactly. And then Snoop calls her a ridiculous donderhead, and after that, she grabs her black mobile and sends a text to Sirius. So I'm not sure if like her vampire powers are sort of like it's a well, or she has like a power meter, and sending one message exhausted her telepathic ability. So now she has to go back to using her phone.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then Snape calls her a dunderhead again and says, "I'm going to kill." But then suddenly Severus came in. Snake put the whip behind his back. "Oh, hello, Sev. I was just teaching them something," he lied. But suddenly Lucian and Professor Trovelry came into the room, and they and Sirius unlocked the chains and put them around Snape. So the tables have turned. But I did enjoy the, it's like a Full House sort of sitcom moment of the parrot comes in and just immediately hide the the implement of torture behind your back.
"Oh, hello, Sev. I didn't see you there."
He's just doing the walking from side to side wherever he goes, so he can't peer behind him.
Right. Yeah, so that's the plot. So I guess something actually happened there.
Yeah.
Which
I think they finally, Snape in this book has peered in on a student changing. He's had sex with another teacher in the middle of the hall, and this might be the thing finally that gets the faculty review committee to maybe take up his like tenure track, I think. Yeah,
there are whispers of a special PTA session, quietly removing this gentleman. Yes. The author's note for 31. Pretty much the same stuff except for this. "I said shut the fuck up, you quafiz." Is that as bad as I think? I mean,
I believe that's what she's going for, yeah.
Okay. All right, well, the less said about that, the better.
But she also says, "Stop calling Ebony a Mary Sue, okay? So don't even know what's going to happen, okay? So fuck you." So she's, I guess, we probably should look into if there's like a common history. I think it was taken down from fan fiction, but I guess by this point, everyone was calling Ebony a Mary Sue, probably because she actually inserted her own name in an earlier chapter. But for the most part, Ebony, like, there's been nothing that really has been, she hasn't like succeeded, like in the Harry Potter books. Harry Potter like wins the Quidditch tournament. He, stops the troll that's in the bathroom. He achieves things, and she is just sort of like, bumbling from MCR show to MCR show.
So to be a Mary Sue, you just have to, it's me, but I'm doing all sorts of great things, and I'm a hero. Is that basically what it means? Or I'm doing everything I want to do. I'm.
Everyone thinks she's great, type of thing. Like Wade Watts is definitely like the Ernest Cline, Mary Sue, I would say.
Yeah, he's saving the cat, and everyone loves him.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And it's obviously the author, like
yes.
how they see themselves.
Okay,
so
I just wanted to make sure that the rules of that were clear. Having just a character who's like you, but just is complex or something, then you may not get accused of a Mary Sue.
Yeah, I think if your character exhibits even the slightest like negative traits, I think that which this character of course does, but not the negative traits this character exhibits are positive traits in the author's eyes. Crying and slitting her wrist and all that.
Right.
But no, the preps flamming is very much justified,
right?
Based on how I understand the term.
All right. So 31 then.
Yeah.
Mostly I have except for the big reveal, I have dumb sentences. So maybe we should just get to that plot point, because there's a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, so she's the plot that was established several chapters ago and then was quickly abandoned, but she is now again going to go back in time to try to seduce Voldemort. She jumps sexily into the pensieve, which is like the big sort of bowl that Dumbledore has. And do you want to do the reveal? I mean, the reveal is one of the biggest reveals in the history of literature. It makes every M. Night Shyamalan movie look like a Bazooka Joe comic in terms of what you saw coming.
Right. So every other ... before this one can just go straight to hell, because here we go. That's maybe why I lost it, because she jumped sexily into defensive does not mean went back in time. To my read, I didn't know what that was. So.
Oh, you didn't.
So she's back in time. But suddenly I was in front of to school. In front of me was one of the sexiest goth guys I had ever seen. He was wearing long black hair, kind of like Mikey Way, only black.
I think that's Gerard's brother.
Okay, he had gray eyes like Billy Joe Armstrong, and pale wit skin. He was wearing a Blake ripped up suit of Vans, with Vans. Sorry, it was Tom Bombadil. What?
It's
what?
And that's how the chapter ends. So imagine that in real time. Like, you're waiting for this weekly update from this fan fiction, and then you have to like wait till the next week to get the next installment.
How many? So if we had just played a guessing game, and let's say we had an infinite amount of time, and I said ... who, Conor? I mean, the list would be, I guess it would just be a game we'd have to play over several years, and you'd
exactly.
never ever you'd never get there.
We'd have to go to the quantum realm where we're, time seems like years to us, but it's only actually minutes on the real world, and we come back out after guessing every character in literature. I don't know. I mean, like, LOTR pretty well. Like, can you just give people a rundown of Tom Bombadil?
Yeah, Tom Bombadil is a magical kind of, there's books written about who he's supposed to be, but he's a master of nature. But mostly he's just a guy in little green boots who jumps around singing songs and whistling and gathering milk and taking his lovely bride through the forest. But then it turns out he has incredible power. He's more powerful than the Dark Lord himself. But then he just disappears from the book because...
Yeah, he doesn't use that power.
Clearly you can't have this guy jumping around singing little songs and
he's
fighting
in,
actual evil. So
he's in like the first 5 chapters of the book, I think. Like he's
already done his thing. Yeah, it's almost immediately. He says, don't go into the barrows, which they immediately do, and they call for Tom Bombadil, and so he bounds in and sings a song and whistles and sends them on their way, and then that's it. Goodbye.
All right.
The
so
end.
He was Tolkien really could have used a raven to sort of be like, I just don't know if this is really, setting the tone for the rest of the series you want to go with here, JRR.
Stop flaming, you preps. Tom Bombadil has a purpose in this book.
So this was so shocking that spoiler alert, next author's note, chapter 32, she says, stop flamming. I know his name isn't Tom Bodil. That was a mistake. So there is really no Bombadil here. It turns out that's Tom Riddle, who is Voldemort as a child. But in the meantime, as they were waiting for the next installment, there was a lot of speculation between both the fans and the preps of My Immortal. And so there is some of that speculation got translated into audio, which is still out there on the dark web.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they were sort of like, what on earth? Like, Lost, you had people being like, what do these numbers mean? And they would craft these elaborate theories. People were like, I bet this is what's going to happen once Tom Bombadil shows up. So they wrote him down, they reenacted it, and they were passed along. It sadly turned out not to be the case, but it is a fascinating look into sort of the mindset of the readers of this time.
Wow, I'm anxious to go back to, 2006?
6, I believe.
2006. Yeah. And well, let's cue it up. Hey doll, merry doll, ring-a-dong-dillo, ring-a-dong, hop along, fa-la the willow. Hey come, derry doll, my darling, light goes the weather wind and the feathered starling.
OMG, your is a habit?
Old Tom Bombadil, water lilies bringing, comes hopping home again. Can you hear him singing?
This is worse than a Hilary Daft song, you prep.
Hey, come, merry doll, derry doll, and merry-o, goldberry, goldberry, merry yellow berry-o.
What's Gladberry? Some kind of perv thing? Ew, I'm not even 18. Get it? 'Cause I'm goth?
Hop along, my little friends, up the withy windle. Tom's going on ahead, candles for to kindle.
How long is this song? Longer than Gerald Saxey singing on the goth national anthem, Welcome to the Black Parade?
Reeds by the shady pool, lilies on the water, old Tom Bombadil and the river daughter.
OMFG, if you don't stop, I'm going limpidly slit my wrists and watch Deep Blue Sea.
Down west sinks the sun, soon you will be groping.
Ew, you are a prep perv. That's the worst kind of prep.
When the night shadows fall, then the door will open.
What door, you vacuous buffoon? It better be to your flying Mercedes-Benz.
Hey, come, Derry-doll, hop along my hearties. Hobbits, ponies, all, we are fond of parties.
Ponies? You watch Friendship is Magic? That's a poser show for unco-eyed dishes.
Oh, springtime and summertime and spring again after. A wind on the waterfall and the leaves' laughter.
You're singing worse than the Flamin'.
Old Tom Bombadil is a merry fellow. Bright blue his jacket is, and his boots are yellow.
Okay. You know what? Raven, this was a mistake.
Whatever is the problem, dear?
I'm over in my head with this Bombadil subplot.
I thought it was working smashingly, my dear. An unexpected development in Act 2 is just what the story needs to capture both prep and goth interest before a boffo final third.
No, I can't do it. Literally, I need you to help me get out of here.
Well, it's a tall order.
You're the best edited fanfiction has ever seen. Come on.
I've got it. What if you just...
Yeah?
Abandon it without explanation, refuse to apologize, and make light of an existing debilitating disease that affects thousands of real people every day.
Thanks, Raven. You've done it again. So yeah, that's what people.
Wow.
That's how people interpreted this this crazy twist.
Good Bombadil. Well done.
Yeah, it was solid. I mean, there's like one illustration of Tom Bombadil out there, I feel like, and it really captured that guy's sort of jaunty nature, I'd say.
Man, I wish that Peter Jackson had the stones to put him in the movie. How are you going to solve this one?
It just had to have been like, meeting one, the project's been greenlighted, but we're absolutely not doing this. Like, sorry, diehards.
Yeah, who's your casting for that one? That's a tough one.
That would be amazing if you showed up and was like, am I going to be who was the guy that, I don't know the names.
Aragorn?
The main guy? Yeah, no. Am I going to be, okay, maybe I'm the guy that the Sean Bean role that betrays him, but he's still, a strapping guy. Nope.
No.
You're going to prance around and sing about Goldberry.
Oh. Well done, Mr. Reenactors, or whatever you call them.
Yeah, keep up the good work. Chapter 32, so she reveals it was a mistake, and the character now introduces himself. The name's Tom, but you can call me Satan. That's my middle name. And Tom Riddle, we've already met. He owned a goth clothing boutique in Diagon Alley, but I guess she's not going to try to square that circle with this other Tom Riddle that exists back in time.
So explain the mistake again. How is it a mistake? What?
I think she's the Tom Riddle Bombadil, I think, is the mistake there.
She just messed them up. They
messed them up, yeah. And so that's that's a point in the trolling column, I would say.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Shakespeare couldn't have written his plays because he did not have intimate knowledge of the courts. He knew too much about seamanship and the very, very intricate ins and outs of that at the time, and so he couldn't have written them. But of course, we know nothing about him, so it's how you can't prove a negative. But in this case, would she really have Tom Bombadil at the tip of her of her pen, of her typewriter, of her keyboard, whatever she's using?
Exactly. Yeah, the deep Tolkien cut. I'm not sure. I mean, it wasn't Gone, Bury Gone or something. It was, people sort of know Tom Bombadil as a joke, but I don't know.
Well, anyway.
But still, the fact that it even appeared was pretty delightful.
So, but Tom Riddle was the name in the book or the movie? Or?
Yes, he's, that's like the secret identity of Voldemort, I guess.
Okay.
He fully embraced the darkness or whatever. He had to change, so he assumed a new identity. But Tom Riddle was the
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then in chapter 32, though, he's just. But we already knew this, right? He is Satan as well.
Yeah. Well, he says, "Yeah, you can call me Satan because that's my middle name."
Gotcha.
So we have vampire, Satan, and not very subtle.
Right. That was delightful.
We do get this. Yeah, we get a wonderful exchange. Come on, we have to go upstairs, Satan said. I followed him. Hey, Satan, do you happen to be a fan of Green Day?
Since MCR and Evanescence don't exist yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she's not, she doesn't want to do a butterfly effect by mentioning something that hasn't come to pass. So she's at least got her head screwed on right for that part.
And this is where I'm still reading this going, I don't know what she's talking about because I had no idea she was back in time. Because it was Tom.
She jumped into the pensive.
Yeah, all right, okay. And so it is what year?
98. Or no, I'm sorry. Maybe something like it's like the mid to late 90s.
Okay, all right. And she's going, and what again? Remind me what the plot mission is. She's going back to seduce.
She has to seduce him.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I think it's pretty much. I think it's the feeling is, if Tom Satan Riddle had some love in his life, he never would have turned to the dark side and become Voldemort.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Question for you then.
Okay.
Then suddenly, there's an N on it. ... The floor opened.
Mm-hmm.
OMFG, no, I screamed as I feel down. Everyone looked at me weirdly. Hey, where are you again? Satan asked as I fell. What is happening?
So I think, she's leaving the time verse. She's like, it's like leaving the Matrix, like where sort of like the floor opens. Fortunately, the floor is not Willow, but like that's how it sort of like pulls her back into a present time. Like I think she's very poorly describing a movie effects scene.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They're pulling her back out of the pensieve, and to her, that's like the floor opening up and falling back out.
So that was a quick trip then. So she's back in normal time?
Yes. She got out of the hole, and it was back in the pensieve in Professor Trevollery's classroom. Dumbledum was there.
Okay.
And she says, Dumbledore, I think I just met you, I said. Oh, yeah, I remember that, Dumbledore said, trying to be all gothic. So she has already affected time. I mean, Dumbledore now has a memory of meeting her in the mid-90s.
So she went back, just asked him if he liked a band, and then left?
They also talked about Hot Topic, which he corrected her and said it's called Hot Issue. And in 1998, they changed it. This is my Sonic Challenge. You almost got past it.
Oh, okay. Dang.
Yeah. There's a really cool shop called Hot. And then she finishes his sentence. Topic, I finished, happy again. He frowned confusedly. No, it's called Hot Issue. He smiled, and I don't know he smiled again.
He smiled
then,
Skritville
again. Then, in 1998, they changed it to Hot Topic. He moaned. So, okay. He knows that, he knows that there's he's talking about corporate rebranding, but he's moaning it.
Okay, so he frowned confusedly. Okay, I think I can do this. No, it's called Hot Issue. Then in 1998, they changed it to Hot Topic.
Oh my God. It sounded like your batteries were dying.
I was moaning while trying to get across some very vital information.
But yeah, so that's she doesn't just ask him if he likes Green Day. She also gets the lowdown on what Hot Topic used to be called.
Okay. And then she fell down through the floor and went back through the pensieve.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, sure. Duh. With all that knowledge, it makes sense in retrospect.
Yes.
And then it turns out that Professor Sinister is addicted to something called Voldemort serum, and I don't really know what that is or what its analog is, but I can't imagine it's going to have an actual impact on the plot. But she is sobbing limpid tears because of it.
Yeah, started to cry black tears of depression. Dumbly Dumb didn't know about them. I guess the tears of depression. I don't know. But Dumbly Dumb is more than one. So that's just flat out trolling.
I suppose.
There's no way.
Yeah.
You don't do that twice.
Right.
I guess that could have used a get it, I don't like him or something like that.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know why she doesn't like Dumbledore. There's actual villains in this book, you know? But and Dumbledore had been like, he had going through his midlife crisis. He had started like wearing the cape that says Avril Lavigne on it.
That's right, yeah. Huh.
I thought he was getting in on their good sides, and then like earlier on, she's like calling him a motherfucker and stuff. So anyway,
all right,
that's all for chapter 32, I think. Chapter 33.
Yeah, chapter 33. I only have one note in there. It's not too far. Lol, I borked. I really did not expect the term borking to appear in this book. The taking down the character of a Supreme Court judge in order to...
Right, yes.
Wow. So her knowledge it goes far and wide.
It did.
Tom
she contains
Bombadil borking, yeah.
I liked this one. I think this is her responding once the professor has admitted that she is suffering from an addiction to Voldemort serum. Oh my fucking God, I shooted sadly. Should we get you to St. Manga's, bitch? I just hoped that would be what like the EMTs would say when they show up when you've called 911.
Right. Plot-wise, anything to note?
Yeah, this was the one sentence where I just had to like rub my temples and be like, this is almost another language at this point in time. I'm gonna so this is all becomes a parenthetical. I talk. Someone is poking Snape and Lupin. Those are the bad teachers. Or Sirius is poking them. I don't know, with like a red hot poker. I took some photons of him and Snap being torqued. Then this is a parentheses. Okay, I know this is men, but think about it. People, they are petas and Snap trod to rap dem and new way. Sazdits rock. Has anyone seen Shrek Attack 3 lulls? So it was just sort of just like, oh my God. It's like looking at a half-filled in crossword, like trying to figure out what letters were missing.
Right. So they're being tortured, but it's okay because they're so awful.
Yes. And I don't know how. What I assume is Shark Attack 3 fits into this. I don't know what that is or have heard of it, but maybe it's a thing where some pervs get their comeuppance. Who knows?
Yeah. Then there's a gross sex thing.
Yeah. Where they make out like in The Grudge.
I got an orgy? I got an orgy. Gross. Whatever that means.
Oh,
but yeah, so he whispered sexily, and then we fell asleep. Lol. It's the end of that chapter.
More chapters should end with lol.
Yes.
Well, we're almost at the end. We're doing good. Chapter 34 comes in hot with a all caps offer note. Shut the fuck up, preps.
Have you even read the story? If you are probably just preps and poses. Yeah, it's more of the same.
Yeah.
She really, I don't know that she has the temperament to take open criticism. Like I once was, I knew a playwright, and he presented his play, and then the entire audience sits, and I mean, this is a normal occurrence, and the audience just sits and gives him notes.
Oh dear.
And the guy was just, I mean, this is his 1,000th, so it wasn't a big deal for him, but I was listening to these idiots like, you should put a cat in it. I like cats, Okay, yeah, great. That's a good note. That's a good note. Thank you very much. For like an hour and a half, just ridiculous, just non sequiturs and garbage. Yeah, and he just had to sit there and take it. And That's what she just doesn't have that temperament, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, at least give the all caps a rest if you're going to respond to the critics, I'd say.
Right.
Yeah, you're really just baiting them at this point in time.
Yeah. 34.
Mm-hmm.
All I have are dumb sentences for this.
I think I've probably got one of them. I'm going to burn it. I'm sorry.
Do it.
He says, someone comes to her door. I think it's probably Vampire. Hi, Ebony. Guess we have to come to Professor Sinister's office. Okay, I said in a depressed voice. I had wanted to fuck Draco or maybe listen to MCR or Evanescence. And that is it's if that's a lateral move, it's not super impressive, Mr. Frank Stallone.
Right. My dumb sentence that I'll burn here. Suddenly, ... Sorry is cocked on the door. I hopened it.
I mean, that's a good portmanteau if you're expecting a package to arrive, so you hopefully open the door when the guy knocks.
That's true. So when someone cocked on the door.
But I think she goes back to the office where Professor Sinister is there. She describes her outfit and then sort of provides a link to the one that Amy Lee was wearing, but it cuts off after the first backslash of HTTP.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's like that in the print and online version.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like the one Amy Lee wears in this pic. Yeah, we can't see it.
That's why use words when you can, a picture speaks 1,000 of them.
Yeah, well, when we're doing our scripts and we want to make sure that people know what the reference is, we'll put a hyperlink in there.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. So why not?
It's finally, we finally come to a Riff Tracks comparison. We've had Churchill and Shakespeare and
the Bible.
Beowulf, but
yes.
But then she does go back in time again into the pensieve, and it just says, on a table was a tall, gothic man with long black hair, pale skin, and blue eyes, wearing a suit and black Converse shoes. He looked just like Charles Manson. I noticed he was drinking a portent. Who's he? I asked. Oh, that's Professor Slutborn, Satan said. And maybe there was a slughorn in this book. I don't remember, but Slutborn's pretty good. And I think that the main plot point of this is that Marilyn Manson is now doing a concert that night at Hogsmeade.
Oh, Charlene Manson is Marilyn?
Well, that's who the guy looks like. Yeah, I think that I don't know if that's supposed to be Charles Manson or Marilyn Manson at this point. It really doesn't matter.
Okay. I was thinking Charles Manson.
But then Marilyn Manson is doing a concert, so that could be a coincidence as well.
Oh, okay. I thought that was her being funny or something. I don't know. Get it? They're both Manson.
Right.
But it's Marilyn Mason, of course, so further confusing everything. My next dumb sentence is the first time that it's ever been a chapter title. Chapter 35, Ghost of You. I assume that's a song called Ghost of You?
Yes, it is a MCR song where they have a sort of D-Day themed video where they're landing on like Omaha Beach as they sing it.
Okay, well that's a chapter title. Chapter 35, Ghost of You. It earns a dumb sentence of the week from me.
Nice, wow, that is unprecedented.
Yep. What do you got for 35?
And yeah, this is the final chapter of the thing. In the author's note, she says, P.S. I'm going to end the story really soon, so fuck you, all caps. And I wish that was like when Stephen King was writing the Dark Tower series. That was, like book 6 or something. He would have said that to everybody.
Right. I assume George R. R. Martin has done this too to his fans.
Yeah, it has to have been as like a Comic-Con panel or something. Right. That'd be incredible. And then when she's back in time, I guess she meets Draco's dad, who's Lucian, who she, I guess, mistakes from Draco. What else do you have?
I was just looking for funny things at this point. Plot-wise, I'm pretty drained. I'm not following this.
Right.
I don't know who Lucius is. I don't know what his motivation is. I don't know.
Okay. So yeah, he's Draco's dad, and he's in a golf band with all the other guys they're opening up for Marilyn Manson at the show that night. They're called X Black X Tier X.
And she plays the gutter. I did like that.
Yes, yeah. And so she says that she's in a song as well, and they play a Gurnday song, and she sings sexily, "I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams."
her favorite thing in the world. She can't even manage to put a little time and attention to.
So I don't know if you want to do that as a solid challenge. You probably don't know how this song goes.
I
can do it.
Please do it.
I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams. I don't know how Green Day factors into all this either. I guess he's just sort of like has eyeshadow in some pics, but like they're very much just like power punk. Like there's nothing goth about them.
I think it is just the makeup, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because otherwise they're pretty much the Ramones.
I mean, it's kind of like that, and they haven't shaken it for years. The Cure. He always has to say, "I'm not a goth band. I'm saying his big hit. It's Friday. I'm in love." It's like the Beatles song, you know.
Yeah,
but he wears mascara, so
right. I mean, and she says, in order to open up for them, I knew that I had to get a new outfit, and I that's kind of true at this point. Your outfits are also like the Taco Bell stuff, but that's not really a plot point at this point in time.
Yes. By the way, get a new spelling in Nope B for Ebony, which seems to require extra effort. But
right, yeah, more letters.
ENOPBY. Nope B.
Oh. And it ends with something that was fanfic or real last time, the appearance of Morty McFly.
Right. That's probably the other reason I didn't know that there was time travel is because Marty McFly and his Tim machine hadn't even shown up yet. His black Tim machine.
Yeah, Ernest Klein would not approve of that, I guess, bastardization. That's like, probably for him that's as bad as female Ghostbusters, I would guess, making the DeLorean black is a...
Right.
But yeah, I guess the point is that the pensieve can take you back in time, but not forward. So they need the black Tim machine to go forward in time, and that's where Morty McFly shows up. And based on the fact that we got a fanfic of him as Tim machine becoming an iPod in the last one, we know that this is not sort of a Tom Bombadil fake out.
No, yeah, this is going to happen, folks. Yeah, this is exciting.
Wow. Well, I hope that you're able to form complete sentences and operate heavy machinery still after reading this.
I'm going to immediately go off and just what's the densest? I'll read some H.L. Mencken or something where he uses his prose is just over the top, packed with erudite words and swooping prose. So I'll do that for a while.
Yeah, it's like going on a juice detox after a trip to a buffet or something.
Yeah, this is rough stuff.
But we're going to finish it for next time. So I'm looking forward to the, I imagine that the final, images are going to stack up there with among the greatest in literature, so we beat on, against the current into the past type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, but spoiler alert, I did read the Wikipedia on it. I believe she just crashed it into a tree and left it smoking in a heap. I don't think there is even an attempt to end the book. So I just don't want you to get your hopes up.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I'll adjust to that. But I think we should probably let's read some emails because we got some good ones this
much last time. We couldn't even steal people's mail. So glad we can do it this time.
Yeah, me too, because we got some good ones. We got the first couple are theories, so we'll get through those.
Okay.
This one's from Janelle. This is going to rock you back on your heels. Finally, among all the drama this book has summoned amongst the fandom, I think that's our podcast fandom, I hope, I have to tell you that my BF, Andrew, has taken an entirely out of left field stance. Now, remember Andrew? He's the guy that claimed he was going to keep reading the Shadow Moon series.
Oh, yes, okay.
Without having to. He does not think that Vampire Potter is a vampire. He's even looked it up on the My Immortal fandom wiki, and he said it doesn't say Vampire Potter is a vampire, but it also doesn't say he's not a vampire, so I'm not sure.
Well,
she says he's so far down this hole, I slapped him with one of his Shadow Moon sequels, and he left the room. Or I left the room. But
wow.
Yeah, I guess there are just hints there that he is not actually a vampire, just a nickname that he has been calling himself or sort of assigned himself.
That would be an odd thing. I mean, I guess that would be like you've got, let's take Lord of the Rings. You've got a bunch of wizards in it, right? Mm-hmm. And then there was just a guy who looked like a wizard, and he was named Wizard, but he wasn't a wizard. I guess you could do that. Seems like an odd choice.
But it would make a little bit more sense in the context of My Immortal than it would the beloved Lord of the Rings trilogy.
That's true. Although this guy did write Bombadil, so, you know.
True. This next one is from Alex. He says, so I'm going to try to parse this. Ebony Raven Dementia Way is named for the bird, but not Raven the person. Raven, her editor. Raven the person is named Willow, but is not named for Ebony Raven Dementia Way. Willow is actually Thorn Drumhelder. So who's on first? It's a tangled web we weave, Alex. Thank you for confusing it further.
Oh, man.
This next one,
we're spending time on this again.
Exactly. It's like they say that, you know, holding your breath too long kills brain cells. I think this is absolutely the effect this book has. Tom H., listener, has written in. This is the first mashup. We asked for mashups if other beloved works of literature were written in the style of Tara Gillespie.
Yes.
Bob did not do that. He wrote, "What if Bob Honey was mashed up with Tara Gillespie?"
Oh, dear.
And so I'm going to read that to you. Starshin 34, Barn Ding is being. Bob saw his ex-whiff in the crowd at the MCR show. So chub and red hair, gross boogies flipping from her nose when she talk. What a portentous poser, he said to Ebony and Vampire. She was sitting with posers from Hufflepuff. Bob knows she didn't know the words to any MCR songs. She only listens to Jessica Sampson and Justin Tumbling. She was just a porky posture and prep poser pretending to party with preteens.
Wow. I'm glad somebody else attempted that.
That one must have been, the mental gymnastics are very hard there. But he says, the more I think about it, the more I realize Sean Penn and Tara are pretty similar. Overwrought anger about posers/fakers who they interact with every day. The obvious Mary Sue nature of the lead characters. Loathsome traits of the characters who are supposed to be the good guys, which the authors apparently think will endear them to the audience. Both included footnotes, which only make the works more excruciating to read. And both authors have garbage taste in music. So he's lumping in Phil Oakes with MCR and GC here.
Yeah. So again, since it was just the 4th of July, you think about all the people who fought and died for our freedoms. I think they're looking down from heaven and hearing a mashup of Bob Honey and My Immortal and going, yes, this is why we did it. You're yes. Welcome.
The slow clap.
Yeah, wow.
Well, the next one is a little bit more up your alley. This is from David, and he wrote one called My Man Baphomet, and it's by XXX Burning Woodhouse XXX.
Okay.
So this is a Jeeves and Wooster in the style of Tara Gillespie.
Oh, sweet.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to read the whole thing. It's kind of long, but we'll see. Ho there, my name is Bertram Mephistopheles Wostar, and I have exquisite manners. Manners, M-A-N-O-R-S. Get it? Because I'm a prep. I was in the bathtub drinking my rubber duck. Ooh, not masticating. Yeah, right. I heard a cough and looked. It was, long ellipses, Jeeves. Jeeves is my man. Not that way, you pervs, even though I am libertine, but only for the fair sex. But he is called Baphomet now because his Uncle Charlie was hit by a 2-seater and died, so he is a cult now and does magic. I'm off to the drones to do a seance with Tuppy Glossop and also unwrap a mummy, I said. Baphomet put down a fish he was eating. This is why he was so smart that a hat won't fit. Sir, Mr. Glossop now dongs a new moniker. He is called Frankenstein's Monster because his GF was eaten by a shark at Cannes, exclaimed Baphomet eyebrowingly. if I broweringly is the word I want. Also, you are scheduled to give the prize for scripture knowledge to the plebes at Market Snotsbury Grammar School. Baphomet is prep too, and we stick up our noses at the plebes.
Oh, wow. All the hits. That's beautiful. Well done.
Then he, I'll publish the whole thing, but it's, he has black trousers with pin strips that says Mini Demutra on the posterior. And he calls Beatram, thou art a licentious ass. And it ends with Aunt Agatha appearing.
Sweet. Wow.
Yeah, I'll post that whole thing in the text of it. Yeah. Finally, we get some insight into the Japanese, the one Professor Sinister and the Kawaii.
Yes.
This is from Carson. He says, also re Bloody Mary and Professor Sinistera, Sinisters, cringy Japanese fangirling and slang. A handy term used to describe people like this is weeaboo, defined on Urban Dictionary as a person who retains an unhealthy obsession with Japan and Japanese culture, typically ignoring or even shunning their own racial and cultural identity. Many weeaboos talk in butcher Japanese with the 8 or so words they know, i.e. kawaii, the first example, Desu or Nichan. While weeaboos claim to love and support Japanese culture, counterintuitively, they tend to stereotype Japanese culture by how often it appears in their favorite anime, which can safely assumed to be offensive to the Japanese. So there you go. Bloody Mary and Professor Sinatra are filthy weeaboos. Lol. I'd seen the term weeb pop up before, but I never looked into it.
Yeah, it was mentioned in the wiki that I said I had perused. That was
nice.
That was noted as well. Obviously, it's terrible and butchered and considered insulting. So,
some good insight into the world of everything. Thank you, everyone who wrote in, especially for those mashups. If you've got any more, send them our way. Maybe we can compile them. And I believe a lot of those people were our Patreon supporters, which of course is patreon.com/372 pages. Chip in over there. You can get every episode early and other fun stuff. I guess it's time to do dumb sentences.
A sentence begins with a capital letter. A capital letter is a letter that's big. A capital letter is not a small letter. A capital letter is big, big, big. A sentence ends with a period, or an exclamation, or a question mark. A sentence always ends with a period.
Our intrepid singer here could not be more wrong. A sentence does not always end with a period. Or an exclamation mark. It can end with pretty much anything you can hit on a keyboard.
A number, yeah. It could end with an AN. But yeah, they are not for lacking this time. The first one we have is from Justin and Amanda. They selected Dumbledore's "He went and called some people and did some stuff." And one of them said, notable for its lack of misspellings.
Oh, yeah.
John... Yeah. John submitted, of course. It was many periods. Tom Bombadil. Mm-hmm. Is Bombadil spelled right in there? Or is it? Yeah.
I think it is. Wait, I don't have it.
It might not be.
I don't have it.
It might not be. Because if you search for Bombadil the way it's spelled here, it only turns up My Immortal references.
There you go.
So Devin submitted a dumb sentence I can't even begin to figure out. He took out a heroin cabaret and spiked it and gave it to me to spork. IJC submitted, Draco and I decided to watch Lake Placid, parentheses, C isn't dad depressing, on the gothic red bed together. And they said, this makes me laugh because no, it's supposed to be scary, not depressing. And the kids thought of these kids watching a film that also features Betty White is somehow amusing. Janelle submitted, Konnichiwa, everybody come in, said Professor Sinister in Japanese. Andrew submitted, he was hung like a Stallone. Deanna submitted, I was wearing black lacy leather pajamas. And she said, this sentence is mundane compared to other sentences, but who the hell wears pajamas made of leather? She is sleeping in a coffin, so all rules are out the window. Oh, Tom also submitted heroin cabaret. He said, that sentence also made me think of the Jabberwocky, the nonsense poem by Lewis Carroll.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. He says, anyway, how badly do you have to misspell the word smoke for Clippy to guess that you meant spork?
Smoke?
So they're smoking the heroin.
Wow. Holy cow.
Yeah. Marie submitted, this is all caps, Orly, I asked. So she said, that's the oh really, like the owl memes.
Yes.
She just says, how do you manage to make a 3-word sentence patch in so much nonsense? Everything is completely wrong, which makes it gloriously right. This one is from Balaji. Then suddenly an idea I had.
Wow.
He just said, suddenly she's Yoda. That one I just sort of like, I think your brain sometimes fixes them automatically if it's not too damaged from reading this.
Right.
Jim submitted, Draco, are you okay? I asked in a gothic voice. And he just said, despite the obvious stupidity, I find it fascinating that the author who uses internet slang abbreviations for practically everything to the point where it's virtually unreadable choose to write out OK, OKAY instead of the standard abbreviation of OK. Which, again, is a very good point.
Yeah.
Brad said, but you have to tell me why you're being all erective. Carson submitted, I laughed statistically. And he's and that was supposed to be sadistically. I think that was because there was maybe Snap had being tortured. And this is another one. Look, motherfucker, he said angrily as Dumbledore gasped, parentheses, C is the toot of Cractor. And that was another one where I just sort of threw my hands up. Maybe Tom can help out with that one because I have absolutely no idea what letter C is the toot of Cractor. Is that true of the character? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, character. Oh, my God.
But all he's doing, Dumbledore is gasping. I don't think he's known for that.
Whew.
Let's see if I have anything that wasn't burned.
I'll do mine while you look.
Sure.
Again, you just pick out the things that are left once you've said everything.
Yeah.
We went back to our coffins Frenching each other. So, it's just not a sentence you're going to get in any other book, I very much doubt.
Exactly. It's like a, the Juicy Lucy burger, a regional specialty. You just can't get it anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it, but it was super dumb, and I'm just going to go with darkness, parentheses, who is Jenny, was there too. Just it's like panning over in a Star Wars council meeting, and all of a sudden you see a weird guy who you've just never seen before, and they're acting like he was there all along.
Right. Well, I mean, actually, that could be a title of who's the guy that wrote John Irving or something. Darkness.
Owen Meany.
Yeah, Darkness. Your name is Jenny, or something like that.
Yes,
that's not a bad title.
Isn't there a Shakespeare quote like that, like something thy name is woman or something?
Yes. Insolence, thy name is woman. Is that it? I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, probably what she was going for.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
That's it. We can finish the book for next time, and thanks for listening. People seem to be having a lot of fun with this, whether it's a troll or not. I think they probably just like hearing us say trip over our tongues trying to parse out what these sentences mean. So.
Yes, and if anyone is out there parsing it Talmudically, sorry. See, my brain, it actually does ruin your brain. I can't form sentences or think of authors. But if anyone has more theories, the more theories, the better, because my wading into it for even 20 minutes was like, what am I doing? But but it is interesting to hear people's theories about it. So keep them coming.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. Finish the book, and we'll be back next time with some more 372 pages we'll never get back.
So long.